This is the Guess That Phrase application. Upon running the application, the user is greeted with an initial splash screen that loads into the login page. Here, the user can log in with a pre-existing account, which I will demonstrate after registering a new user. By clicking Sign In Options, we are brought to the registration form, from which the user can view the requirements they must meet in order to register an account. These details can be found by clicking the question mark icon in the corner. A user can also scroll through and choose an avatar from the options provided. They then can create an account that will pass the validation checks, such as a valid username that is unique, a valid email address so they can receive emails. There is also the ability for them to use the password I to view and hide their password. Upon a successful registration, the user's credentials are written to the database.csv file. The user is automatically brought back to the login screen after successfully registering an account. At this point, if the user had a pre-existing account and had forgotten their password, they can submit a password reset request which will notify an administrator. As we can see, the Guess That Phrase email will be updated with a password reset request from SSD video 1234. There is also validation checks around all this part of the application. For example, if we enter the wrong password for the account we just created here, we will get an error message. We will now log in with the correct details. Upon a successful login, a user is brought to the main menu form, from which they can access a variety of avenues within the Guess That Phrase application, first of which being the options screen. This allows the user to toggle the advanced graphics setting to personalize their own user experience. Next, we have the leaderboard, where the top 3 scoring users can be viewed in ranked order. The ranking is based on the scores from the hard level game. The user can then exit back to the main menu screen here if they wish. They can also view helpful information about the application at the bottom of the screen. Finally, we have the play function of the application. Once clicked, the user is presented with 3 options. Easy, which is a practice mode of the game with a basic 30-second timer and simple 2 to 3 emoji-based phrases. The bonus level of the application is more of a learning experience for the user. Here, the phrases are given in both English and Spanish, and the user has to drag and drop the relevant emojis to successfully guess the phrase. Additionally, the hard level of the game consists of a customized countdown timer, in that if the user guesses a phrase correctly, they will be awarded more time. We will now view the hard level. In this level, the user will face a random phrase from a large pool of 50 unique questions which vary in difficulty. The user can pause the game to view the objective of the level. At this point, the text box and submit buttons are disabled, so the game cannot be cheated. If we guess a few of these phrases correctly to beat one of the high scores on the leaderboard, we can show a new ranking, such as Liar Pants on Fire, Don't judge a book by its cover, and Wake Up and Smell the Roses. As you can see, when a phrase is guessed correctly, the timer increases and the user sees a tick beside their answer. Similarly, when the user guesses wrong, they see an X beside their answer and the time does not increase. The phrases can repeat as it is a game of logic, memory, and speed. This is why we have enabled the Enter button to be used on the keyboard for a better user experience. Once the time runs out, the game is over and the user sees their score along with the options to play again or revisit to the main menu. We will play again here and exit through the dedicated exit button on this level. Now we will go to the leaderboard form in order to see the update of our score onto the top 3 rankings. As you can see, we have made it to the second position and the database has been updated with the highest score. We will now view the bonus level. Upon entering the bonus level, the user is greeted with a random Spanish phrase with the corresponding English translation. The user can hit the help label to view the objective of this level. The aim of this is to drag and drop the emojis to make the phrase in question. Firstly, I will put in the correct phrase. Secondly, I will put in the correct phrase, but will show that drag order is not needed for the phrase to be correct. Thirdly, I will put in an incorrect phrase. Behind the scenes, a bitmap of the image is casted to the user's mouse cursor for a better visual view of their dragging action. Once it reaches the bounds of the picture box, the image is painted into the picture box. Emojis can be dragged in any order and dragged over the top of each other if the user is not happy with their sequence. Similarly, if a user drags an emoji and it doesn't end up in the picture box, no errors will occur. This action will be discarded. Only the final sequence, when the submit button is pressed, will be verified. This makes this part of the application very robust against user misinputs and mouse slips. We can exit the screen with the dedicated exit button to return to the main menu. I will now exit the main menu and log in as an administrator to show their functionality. The login credentials for normal users and admins will be provided in the README. Upon entering the admin screen, an admin can use the drop-down to view all of the current users within the application and their details. By selecting on a user, an admin can edit each detail accordingly, which will update the record in the database.csv. For example, I will select SSD video user and update their password to show that they received an email with their updated password. As you can see, they have received an email to their email with their notification of a new password with the password that I have been provided with. I will now delete SSD video. As you can see, it pops up with an "Are you sure" message to prevent misinputs. SSD video has now been deleted from the database, which I will show.